This is Princess Jordan here. Like my mom's Queens of Queens page.
Bringing you joy to your day, and I hope that you here to stay. But if you not, I hope you get to where you going safe. Them bad feelings I will erase. If you let my vibe take its place, how could you tell me you not into this? It's written on your face. I know me and you can relate. This the way I communicate. If nothing else, you gon' love the way I motivate. This piece is for your mind. Nowadays I know that it's hard to find. If you've been feeling like you've been rushing, just take your time. Stop and smell the roses, cause really nobody knows when God is gon' give his tokens. Just know them doors is closing, but while them doors is open, we gon' put this love in motion. Can you hear the commotion? We do our own promotion, living our life behind the mic, and this won't end tonight.
Hey
Before
everyone,
we get back on the road,
Queens of Queenz Radio here. It's Queen Myesha, and we have a book club. The book club, we are reading Stolen Legacy by Gregory James. Hey, host.
Queen Shavaka of Queens of Queenz Radio.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Great.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we have some more people who are part of this book club. Please introduce yourselves.
It's Aijalon, a lawyer of Kimathi. Welcome to tonight's discussion of Stolen Legacy.
Thank you.
Also, we have Dedan Kimathi. Thank you very much once again for inviting me. Dr. Fletcher, here to join in another discussion. I'm thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So, again, we're discussing chapters 1 and chapters 2 of Stolen Legacy by Gregory James. Discussion is now open.
Okay. King Aijalon, kicking it off as usual. It's a book, Stolen Legacy. I like to compare it to the Bible, to Quran. For me, in my personal viewpoint, of where I get my spiritual strength, my cultural strength, and social strength, of knowing that something has been proliferated, something has been copied, something has been mistranslated. What is the word that they call when they take something else and rewrite it?
Plagiarism?
They act like it's theirs.
Plagiarism?
At the highest degree, a Greco-Roman plagiarism. And so, getting into it, chapter 1 and 2, what I have discovered, or what I knew, is that Aristotle, Socrates, Pythagoras, and many other so-called Greek philosophers, scholars, mathematicians, claim from schools of thought that was thousands of years before the time. In the first 2 chapters, it points out that these people wasn't even born long enough to even have a concept to develop these theories, or these sciences, or these curriculums, or these thoughts, and execute them and be able to train some students in these fields and take the title. And so, chapter 1 and 2 is very important because it gives you a timeline, and we know I say devil or European to be used with different titles, not to be confusing our meanings, but I have to categorize them in my mind and know that these are not people that history is going to write about who are truthful and righteous. It's a wicked thing to take somebody else's identity and then dehumanize them and then hold yourself up like you're Superman. And Stolen Legacy in his first 2 chapters debunks the whole theory that some Greco-Romans could have put out this information in this short amount of time. I'm going to go deeper into the discussion as we carry on. But I just wanted to put that out there to encourage each and every person who might hear this, get the book for yourself. You can understand exactly what I commented and said after you read the first two chapters. You say, oh, this is what he was talking about. Debunking a non-factual statement that the Greco-Romans are the authors of this magnificent field of scholarly work.
I kind of felt like the author made it where the first two chapters, especially, where he kind of repeated himself, but I think that was kind of necessary in order to really drive home the seriousness of what happened in history. Because when I read it, I was like I just read this, a page or two ago. But again, that was necessary to get into our heads what happened. So when we go further in the book, we have that understanding of how this all happened and how today, how the people in the book, the philosophers, the Greek philosophers, how we kind of, or in this society, we say that they're great people, but we don't know how they got their information. So it's really good, the first two chapters.
I want to add this to what you were just saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many I had that our ancestors was not anything or didn't do nothing that make this tribute? And it was repetitive, throughout our life. So I really thank the authors for truly repeating it, even though it's repetitive, to get us to totally just come out of the thought that these people did anyway. I mean, first, I was tired of the repetition, but after I caught it, I surely know when I settled down that these people didn't do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying absolutely. Go ahead.
I agree with the repetitiveness. I mean, essentially, it sounds like, I noticed that like when I was reading the I guess the summaries, like in the beginning of the content, he summarizes what's going on in each chapter, and as like he basically kept repeating, like when he mentioned each Greek philosopher's name, there was he kept saying that there was nothing new. That this philosopher said nothing new. And I got the message that, essentially that's what this whole book is about, is that these Greek philosophers didn't actually tell the world anything new. In chapter 1, it appeared to me that he's pointing out the evidence, right? Like he's saying that, like he points out how the stuff that the Greeks was claiming was theirs was already known, in other lands for centuries before the Greeks claimed it to be theirs. And then with chapter 2, when I was reading chapter 2, it kept making me think about the movie 300, right? Because he says that from 640 to 322 BC, the Greeks were at war with each other. There was internal wars. All the city-states like Athens and Sparta were fighting against each other, and at the same time, they were being attacked by the Persians, right? And I remember reading in there, I saw the name that stood out to me was Leonidas, which is the guy that was leading the 300 in the movie 300. And it mentions that battle, right? And I don't know if you all have seen the movie 300, but in that movie, when the Spartans knew that the Persians were coming to attack, they tried to get help from the other city-states to join in, and the other city-states refused. The other Greeks refused to join, right? And so he's pointing out how in chapter 2 that since they were having so many internal and external wars, it was conditions that were unsuitable for producing philosophers, because philosophers, usually have time to contemplate and think about what's going on, and that usually occurs when there's no war going on, because they're at peace, they got time to think.
That's a good point.
I think it was just amazing how there was just so much in the first 2 chapters. You're like, wow, that really happened? Like, wow. It was just okay for that to happen, and nobody questioned it. And I think, just the general feeling, just listening to the first 2 chapters, is just a lot of information for the reader and to process. And it's like, just in those 2 chapters, it's like it was the meat and potatoes that you were still just sitting on. Somebody stole this. Somebody passed it on. And just having them repeat the same, like you said, are repetitive. And to keep listening, because I'm an educator, and one thing that is my pet peeve is repetitiveness, like not repeating yourself, because I do it throughout the day so often. But it's just something about the repetitiveness of it just captured me, and just I just wanted to say that.
So, for anyone who's listening to this who have not read Stolen Legacy yet, the first 2 chapters, there are some, what can I say? How can I say it? Some difficult words, meaning like they're Greek words, right? they're Greek words. So go ahead. Yeah, Greek to me too. But just hold on and keep on reading, and the book will speed up. But those chapters are very necessary. It's like the foundation of the book. So if you're already at the chapter 1, chapter 2, even chapter 3, which again we're not there, just keep on with it. Do not put it down, because there's a meaning behind all of this.
That's a good point. Don't let your mispronunciation of the Greek words discourage you from reading the book. Yeah, just make up your own pronunciation for the words, just so you can get past them.
And I would say, even in academic circles, even today, with Latin and Greek classes, there's still argumentation on the correct way to pronounce certain Greek and Latin names and words. Because the Greeks and Latin speakers had different dialects there also. And I would like to say thank you to Myesha, Queen Myesha, pointed out, and a great thank you for Dr. Syn-Q, because as we were doing the reading, I was getting frustrated with myself, and I read this book a few times, right? Here I am on the spot. And, people go, here, we say, hey, man, come on, man, it's all Greek to me. And I'm like, okay, I can relax. Because the important part of the whole book is getting the principle. It's not the enunciation of Greek and Roman letters and words. One day we're going to come out of all Greek mindset and we'll be right back in our original mindset. So that's what the book is, fight back and repair the Greek and Latin, and to get into what is truly African, what is truly North African, now valuing what the Egyptians had versus what we were told that we didn't have. And withstand that, Dr. Syn-Q pointed out that they were, the Spartans in different Greek city-states were at war with each other. Even though they had treaties to unite, it fell apart. And so at that particular time, the Greeks were totally against the liberal arts. They were totally against philosophy. And so philosophy at that age, in that time period, which had said that these arts and sciences and this was totally alien to the whole population. And so the author, when he repeated it puts it in your mind and your spirit and your soul. It's like, hey, they didn't do a good job of robbing us because they left too much in, too many holes, for the generation that wakes up. And so I am thankful to this group for being a part of the club because we're on an adventure and a journey to wake each other up and to have a collective mindset as to what really happened. And so anyone who's listening to it, they say we all need to be on the same page. We need to unite. Join us for good. It puts you on the same page. It's not each one teaching one, it's like a group of us teaching a group of us. And I can't wait to the outcome because we have some solutions at the end of it. So please, continue to read with us and take this information and use it as references. He points out different references, different books, cross-references. He gives pages where you can do the research your own self. I just love the style and the format that was also laid out for us because it will supply the generations to come with the right study tools and study habits to be scholars and to make sure that we can refute anything that is pointing the finger at what's that word again? They use their training. It's
plagiarism.
That's that key word, plagiarism. That's what we're going to point out. We're going to point out all plagiarism.
Yeah, because these teachers of the Egyptian mysteries reached other lands centuries before it reached Athens. I remember as a young man coming up, they always had Aristotle and all these other people as being the founding fathers, and they created all this great stuff, Greco wrestling and all that. But we did this again centuries before it reached Athens. And the chronology of Greek philosophers is mere speculation. This right here, it provided a nice, it sheds some light on a lot of stuff, when it comes to this European system. They did a lot right up to these current days right here, how, they did it through Hollywood, how they allow stuff to be seen on a silver screen, and they always, I remember seeing cartoons too. Anytime they show Africans, they always showed them with bones and they lips, made it seem like we were uncivilized. But according to this information here and a lot of other reasons out there, that right there is false. It was a European that was on all knees and was uncivilized, not bathing and all that right there. We came and actually civilized them. Yeah, I wanted to say too. This is a good reference to show, because the United Independent Compensatory Code states that the two tools that the racist white supremacists use against non-white people are deception and violence in order to continue to dominate and subjugate us. Deception being the number one tool that they use, and when deception doesn't work, then they use violence. And deception is also viewed as a form of indirect violence on the mind, according to the code.
Yes,
and this serves as the evidence to point out how the deception began in the area of education, from how they started out to deceive us with deception. So I like it. I like that it points that out.
Hey, King Aijalon, my mind just clicked. Okay, and I'm pretty sure Queen Shavaka and Queen Myesha and Dr. Syn-Q and Dedan and Kimathi, and the listening audience will see, we think this war was like 400 years. This is the beginning of the attack on the African people.
I agree. Yeah.
This lets us know how long they've been trying to penetrate our society, our economy, our culture, our scholarly research, every facet of our way of life, how they downplayed us. And I think if we did the timeline from the date that this author gives us, and he has extensive research, and he gives us the references that we can go look up ourselves. This warfare has been going on close to 6,000 years against the African people on the African continent. And let's not get the Greeks and Romans. He also sheds light on the Arabians and the Persians and the Turks and the Alawites as we go further. But in the beginning, he said in chapter 1 that there were many different groups before Alexander and his thugs came in. You know, I know some of you guys want to hear Alexander the Great. I just call him Alexander the Great. You know, they do it to us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not putting it on it. You know, Alexander the murderer, the rapist, you know, the pedophile. I don't have a problem with calling Alexander and his thugs who they are. And he points it out. He used some clean language. I don't even have to use clean language in 2019. I don't have to use. I don't have to be correct like Donald Trump said. I can call Alexander thugs. He points out the thuggish behaviors of the Greek and the Romans. And so for anybody who's into Pan-Africanism or anybody who wants to counter racism and institute justice, this is also a good reference point to go along with the code because it takes some time, you know, and it lets you know what the injustice is at so you can put things back into justice. So I was just, there's just so much inside this book, man. When you really get to thinking about it, it'll blow your mind on the format that he did it and what he presented to us. You know, he presented to us a set of keys to open every door imaginable to us that we want to open up. Go ahead.
It felt like an information overload. It makes you, like, there's just so much coming in. It just makes you feel like you need a break at times, especially when you're trying to figure out what these words are, and just the way the author set it up is just like, whoa, like, it was like a lot at one time. It's like you have to, like, let it process and sink in and individual.
Yes, I think tonight we're being very careful because the book is so great that we have to kind of really be careful because we don't want to spoil what's to come in this book. So this is just kind of just brushing the surface of the book to kind of get whoever's listening right now kind of interested and kind of getting your feet wet without us spoiling the rest of the book for you.
Exactly. We don't want we don't want to devolve the information. We want you to read it. That's what it is. Dedan Kimathi said this is part of our literacy program. Parents, brothers and sisters, you can take this book and you can read it at home with each other. You start your own study groups. You can come study with us. So I just want to take one thing that I've seen in the book. That it talks about the chapter 5. It talks about the.
Wait a minute, man.
No, I'm just talking about inside the table of contents, right? Just to give them something to look forward to. And I'm going to go back to chapter 1. He says that the Athenian philosophers, and it talks about Socrates and his life. So as we go along, he's going to take each individual that he talked about inside chapter 1 and 2, and he's going to break down step by step and disprove everything that was a credit to these people. And he's going to uncredit them, and he's going to place the credit back where it belongs. And this book is a journey for minds that want to know.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to say, don't just as a reminder, do not be discouraged from reading the book. You know, if you have any difficulty reading it, if it seems like it's difficult to understand, just keep reading it. And I do suggest that you read it out loud, because when you read out loud, you get the pronunciation of the words better. It really does help with the comprehension. And read more than once. If you don't think you understand what you're reading, just read over it. Read it again.
And also, they do have the audio version you can listen to on YouTube. If you type in Stolen Legacy, they have it by chapter by chapter. If you're on the go and you want to listen, there you go.
Hey, well, don't forget too, since the audio version does exist, we have our own audio version.
Oh yeah, we did. Okay, that'll be attached to this.
Really hard to read it. Really hard to read it Monday night.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Right.
Right.
So you got two ways. You can get through us struggling. You just don't want to. You got the audio version. It's just Queen Myesha told you about.
Yeah.
Now let's do this. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, and for those that subscribe to Queen of Queenz, those that share, play these recordings. I wish you could take them to church and play them, but we're not gonna be that drastic, but play them, while you're riding to work, and right when you're trying to fall asleep. If you get tired of TV, cut it off, and then go visit Queenz of Queenz. Go visit Dr. Syn-Q. Go to the Instagram page of Dedan and Kimathi. Go check out Lordansubu. Share, like, comment. We're doing this for you. We want to create a whole media somewhere in a future point. But we're starting off right now with a book club and interviews and discussions. We're trying to get our community. That's all we got. Imagine like this. If no one is willing to educate your kids and give them the information on what civics is and what currency is, and we always talk about the white man this and the white man that, which is good. We don't talk about the white man this and that if you can't replace it with information and power. Knowledge is power. And that's what we're offering with these nuclear names, dates, places, and times when your people were at their best. What that does, you can't go back in the past and relive it, but you can bring that information to the forefront, and you can build from it. The only way we're going to do it is like, I remember Dr. Syn-Q was saying, if we can get everybody codified, and if everybody can be on code, which is something that is easy to do as he's creating this institution where he's going to be explaining to us how to look at the code and you can look at it yourself. But just imagine 10 years from now that we got people reading and they have the comprehension to read for the betterment of their people. And it's going to enrich your own life as a person. It's going to also be able to help you transform your own community. Not waiting on the government, not waiting for somebody to come out the sky, not waiting for another country to become liberated. This is the best warfare that you can do to fight global issues and white supremacy, is to pick up a book and share it with someone. And we're making it simple. We're reading it for you every Monday night. And we're putting it on the internet, we're putting it on YouTube, we're putting it on Facebook. So please, don't talk about unity if you're not going to cooperate. Cooperation is unity. So we ask each and every one who hears it, share with a friend. Tell a family member. Thank you. Aijalon.
Absolutely. So we're getting close. Real quick. We're getting close to having to close this discussion, but go ahead, Dr. Syn-Q.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to follow up on that. The Institute's purpose, since it was mentioned, the purpose of the Institute for Counter-Racism Science will be to motivate people to study the United Independent Compensatory Code, which is a book that you have to go to producejustice.com to purchase. And so the other thing is, when it comes to the code, under the area of education, the utmost thing that is the most important is not to read, but to question everything. Question everything, and in your process of questioning, when you're looking for those answers, reading is just a part of that. There's also experimentation and writing as well. But that is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So does anyone else have the final words before we close this discussion? All right.
I wish to give thanks to another powerful merging.
Yes, sir. Yes, thanks.
And, I'm looking forward to the next one. So, again, the whole thing is to promote literacy because we don't read like the way we should. So, this right here is really food for the thought. It's food for brains. It's some great stuff right here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you. I appreciate all of you.
You do, absolutely.
All right, so this is Queens of Queens Radio. This was discussion of Stolen Legacy by Gregory G.M. James. We have a host, Queen
Shavaka.
Queen Shavaka. All right, and thank you guys.
I'll bet you're going to do the introduction name.
What did you say? What?
That you're going to do the whole introduction name. Queen Shavaka is,
Queen Shavaka with the lovely flowing hair and the beautiful tan skin with a lovely smile. Oh, goodness. All right, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Go to Queens of Queens Radio. That's Queenz of Queenz on YouTube, on Facebook. We have Dr. Syn-Q. We have King Aijalon and Dedan Kimathi, and myself, Queen Myesha and Queen Shavaka. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.